All right, let's just jump right in. How to fix your entire life in one day. I mean, that's a huge promise, right? We've all been there. You feel stuck. You make those New Year's resolutions, and poof, they're gone by February. But what if the reason they keep failing isn't about your discipline? What if we're all trying to fix the wrong thing? Today, we're going to look at a totally different approach, one that goes way, way deeper.
And this quote right here, this is the absolute core of it all. Think about it. We spend so much energy trying to change our actions. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to stop procrastinating. But this idea says, nope, that's all backwards. The real fundamental change happens when you shift your identity. Because for someone who is a healthy person, going to the gym isn't some heroic chore. It's just what they do. It's who they are.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It sounds completely impossible. But what we're about to walk through is this really powerful one-day protocol. It's designed to kickstart that exact transformation, not by using more willpower, but through what you could call a deep psychological excavation.
So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to break down the identity trap and see why it keeps us so stuck. Then, we'll uncover the unconscious goals that are really running the show. After that, we get to the heart of it, this 3-part, one-day deep dive. And finally, we'll pull it all together with this amazing new framework, thinking of your life as a video game.
Okay, so let's get into the big problem here, the identity trap. Most of us, we focus on changing what we do. But that's kind of like trying to redecorate a house that's built on a shaky foundation. The real, lasting work is in rebuilding that foundation, which is our identity.
And this is basically how that foundation gets built. Look at this flow. It all starts with a goal, right? Step 1. Then, through repetition, that's step 4, it becomes a habit. And that habit eventually hardens into an identity in step 5. But here's the real kicker, step 6. We fiercely defend this identity, even if it's one that's holding us back, just to stay consistent with ourselves.
And this is why real change feels so hard, so threatening. When you try to act against who you believe you are, when the person who sees themselves as a procrastinator tries to be super productive, your brain can literally interpret that as a threat to your survival. It triggers a stress response, that fight or flight feeling, and it shoves you right back into your old, comfortable patterns. You're not just fighting a bad habit, you're literally fighting your own survival instinct.
So if our identity is that powerful, how in the world do we start to change it? Well, it begins by understanding a simple truth. All of our behaviors, even the ones that seem like self-sabotage, are actually serving a goal. The only problem is, most of the time we have no idea what that goal is. It's unconscious.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? This is the inner conflict that so many of us deal with. On the left, you say, I want to stop procrastinating. That's your conscious goal. But on the right, your actions reveal a much deeper, unconscious goal to protect yourself from feeling judged or criticized. And as long as that unconscious goal, the goal of safety, is running the show, you will never stop procrastinating. Because in your brain's calculus, the pain of procrastination is less than the potential pain of failure.
This quote from Alfred Adler is the perfect way to think about this. Forget what you say you want. Your actions, your movement, are telling the real story. They show you exactly what your internal system is trying to achieve. If you really want to change your life, you have to get brutally honest about the story your movements are telling.
Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road. How do you actually uncover all this stuff and start making a change? This brings us to the protocol itself. Part 1 starts in the morning with a journaling session that's designed to dig deep and basically rewire the way you see yourself and your future.
So the whole process kicks off with some tough questions. This first one isn't about some huge trauma, it's about those small, annoying things. The low-grade dissatisfaction you've just kind of accepted as normal. The stuff you complain about but never actually do anything about. By dragging that tolerated pain out into the open, you start to build the emotional fuel you need for change. Because, let's be honest, if you don't really hate it, you're going to tolerate it forever.
Now this next question, this is for building what's called an anti-vision. Instead of picturing your dream future, you're forced to stare directly at the brutally mediocre future your current path is leading to. What does your body feel like 5 years from now? What are you thinking about on a random Tuesday? This creates this incredibly powerful negative motivation, a future you will do absolutely anything to avoid.
And then, this question. This one is the real gut punch. It makes you name the identity that's keeping you safe, but also stuck.
Is it the identity of the laid-back person who never really tries, or the perfectionist who never has to face judgment because they never finish anything? This is where the real work begins, because you have to be willing to let that old self die.
So you've done the deep work in the morning. That's part 1. Now for part 2, breaking out of autopilot, because a few hours of journaling isn't going to magically erase years of conditioning. This next phase of the protocol is all about actively interrupting your day so you don't just slip back into your old unconscious patterns.
The idea is simple but super effective. You literally set alarms on your phone with these really intrusive questions. So at 1:30 p.m., your phone buzzes, and you're not just mindlessly scrolling anymore. You're forced to ask, if someone was watching a video of me for the last 2 hours, what would they say my goals are? These little pattern interrupts force you to become conscious of your choices in real time. They pull you out of the trance.
And finally, we get to part 3 of the protocol, the evening synthesis. This is where you close out the day. You take all the messy thoughts and feelings you've gathered and you distill them into pure clarity. You'll figure out what feels most true about why you've been stuck. You'll actually name the real internal enemy, like fear of being seen or comfort in chaos, and then you boil down your vision and your anti-vision into a single powerful sentence for each. This gives you a mission statement you can carry with you.
Okay, so you've done the excavation. You've defined what you want and, just as importantly, what you want to avoid. But now what? How do you put it all into practice day after day? Well, that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, this brilliant framework for organizing everything into a system that's not just effective, but is actually fun. This is where it all clicks into place. You reimagine your entire life as a game you can actually win. So your vision, that's how you win the game. Your anti-vision, that's what's at stake if you lose. That one-year goal becomes your main mission. Those months-long projects, those are the boss fights where you level up and gain XP. And your daily habits, those aren't chores anymore. They're your daily quests that move the story forward. It just reframes everything. And the real power of thinking this way is that it creates this incredible focus. It's like a psychological force field. When you know the main mission, the current boss fight, and your daily quests, all those distractions and shiny objects just lose their power. They're not part of your game. It makes it so much easier to stay on track.
So here's the bottom line. You're already playing a game. We all are. The thing is, for most of us, the goals and the rules of that game were programmed into us a long time ago. By family, by society, by our old identity. This one-day excavation gives you the power to see the game you've been playing, and this framework gives you the tools to design a new one, a game you actually want to play, a game you're excited to win. So the only question left is, what game will you choose to play?